with liberty and justice for all.
We've got two excused absences today. Supervisor Loftus is out of town, as is Trustee Posiask. Unless there's any issues from my fellow trustees, I'll just run the meeting in Brian's absence.
That's fine. Fine with us, I'm sure.
Okay.
You got a half hour.
Yeah. And the clock's ticking.
All right. Since we don't have a full board, we can't do additions or deletions to the agenda, so I'd ask for approval of the agenda as presented.
So moved.
Support.
So move a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And motion passes. We had a presentation on the agenda, but it's going to be rescheduled to a following board meeting. So with now, we'll open up the floor to brief public comment on any items on the agenda. Seeing none, we'll move into the consent agenda.
Yes. Eric, I'd like to make a motion to approve consent agenda 16-027. This includes the minutes of the June 2016 regular meeting, June 13th, and a check register dated through July 8th, 2016.
Support.
Motion and support from Trustee Bundy. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries. We'll move into the action items. Trustee Bundy, do you want to cover the first several since they're in your field of liaison?
I guess I will. First item is a motion to authorize adjustment to the water rates of 4.2% per quarter as displayed on the Finance Director's water bill comparison effective July 1st, 2016, based upon the recommendation of the DPS Commission.
You want to give us the history?
Yeah, the history is we do this just about every year when we get the adjustment from the what is now the Great Lakes Water Authority. There's many facets to it, so I'm going to ask Ann to explain it. But it's something that we, as I say, we do annually. It's so that we can keep up and have enough money to cover our water and infrastructure bills. Ann?
Okay. Good evening. Yes, it is something we do. We adjust the water rates every year based on the increase that we get from the Great Lakes Water Authority as well as infrastructure and bond proceeds. One of the things that came into effect this year while doing the water rates is we got the new water mains that will be approved here shortly. One was already put on in East River water main. You can see that construction going on. That was happening, and we're also going to do West River water main to complete the loop. Both those projects were about $6 million, and we tried to minimize the water rate increase to get those done, because that's going to be a big part of the infrastructure. We can read a little. I'll read the history, and then we can also go over a sample water bill, and we'll put it up on the board. In 2010, a fixed monthly cost recovery was established to cover usage decline in revenue shortfall for all wholesale customers. As over the years, our water has kind of declined in what we're using, so it's also declined in what revenue we have been bringing in. So the Great Lakes Water Authority had used to at one time charged us just based on consumption. Well, over the past several years, they've altered that allocation, and they charge us a fixed rate as well as a consumption rate. So the fixed monthly cost has increased which is 60% of the rate schedule. So that increase, Grozio's new fixed monthly charge will go from $58,000 to $62,000, which is about a 7.19% increase. The billed price per MCF, which is 1,000 cubic feet, will increase from $10.87 to $11.64. So they are switching that allocation from all consumption to a fixed portion that's going up every year. Also in the rates, the water and sewer rates are adjusted to cover the operation and maintenance of the water distribution system, operation and maintenance of the wastewater treatment plant, bond payments, equipment purchases, and capital improvements. In order to keep rates as low as possible, we looked at our refuse, recycling, and yard waste charges to see if we could if those could be adjusted to offset the required water rates. And we did look at that. So with the new contract that we got for our waste disposal, we were collecting about $60,000 too much. So what we did to eliminate or to try to absorb that into the water rate bill is we actually reduced the refrige rate on your bill, your collection. And we'll show you an example of a bill of how we did that. Yep. Yep. So we'll see, and I won't go into all the numbers until we go up on the board, how we change those. So the proposed water rates will go from $9.60 per 1,000 gallons to $10.50 per 1,000 gallons, which is a 9.4% increase over last year. The rates will remain unchanged for the sewer rates will remain unchanged at $3.60 a gallon. The combined amount for both water and sewer would go from $13.20 to $14.10 per gallon, which is a 6.7% increase. So I know I had a lot of different numbers in there, but if we look at the board up there, and I'll go up there just to show you what we're doing, if we base it on 25,000. So if we take a water bill for the currently right now, and this is based on averages, based about 25,000 gallons per quarter, which is average for a normal household. So obviously your bills are going to be not exactly the same, but it's just for comparison. The only thing that's going to change in your water bill, the water consumption. If you look here, it's $9.60 per 25,000 gallons. That's going to go up to $10.50, which is $2.62 and 50 cents per 1,000 gallons. The maintenance charge is going to be the same, and we also said that the sewer charge is going to be the same, so there's going to be no increase. It's going to stay at 3.60 cents per 25,000 gallons. What we did to try to reduce the effect of the percentage increase, reference currently on your bill, your refuse is $33 per quarter, recycling is $7.80 per quarter, and the yard waste is $8.25 per quarter. So we're going to reduce those down to more reflect the actual what we're spending. We don't want to make it a revenue center. We just want to charge the residents as much as we are paying to collect your garbage. So we reduce those rates. So on an average, the average household uses 25,000 gallons or 30,000 gallons per quarter. We based on the 25. So the average increase per household is $18.45 a quarter, or 4.2%. But actually, as we said, it's based on a lot of different consumption. And a lot of it with this is it's so capital heavy, the water department is. I mean, another thing is salaries, but those two water mains are going to make a big issue, and they were included in the budget to make these numbers.
Question, Ann.
Yeah.
We're going to have some bond reductions.
Correct.
I think it's important to
that is correct. Good point.
Identify the fact that when those bond reductions come into effect, they will also be reflected on the water.
That is correct. In the next couple of years, we have some maturities of bonds, so we figured it was a good time to get these projects done. Will increase a little bit for the next year or so, and hopefully once these other bond issues get off, we don't plan on doing anything in the future, so eventually we'll readjust the rates and they could possibly go lower. So we're hoping that those will affect where we're going, as long as everything else stays the same, as long as water usage in Detroit or the Great Lakes Water Authority is consistent with what they're charging. We should actually see a stabilization of rates, or maybe even a decline.
Oh, go ahead, Ted.
I just wanted to comment that on your water and sewer billing, this is an enterprise zone, And the old adage, it is what it is, dollars in or the dollars out, and it's what it's cost us to operate this system. It is not a profit center. We don't make any money on it. We don't bank any money on it. So it's actually cost relative. So as our rates go down, if our bond rates go down, your bill should reflect that. If our construction rates go up, your bill should reflect that. Just so you understand, it's an enterprise zone. These aren't arbitrary numbers. These are actual numbers of what it costs to run the water and sewer plant.
I just wanted to reiterate, going back to all the numbers that Ann went over, it looks like, how did she get to 4.2? The 4.2 is an overall after all the adjustments are made. So don't get hung up on, well, wait a minute, this is 9% increase. How does it get to 4? It's an overall for everything that's included, and it does come out that way. So
Correct, yep. So if anyone has any questions, you're always free to give me a call and we can go over it with you.
Other questions from the board? With that, all in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries.
Moving right along. We have a motion to award the bid for the electrical conduit repairs at the wastewater treatment plant to Douglas Electric. Lowest qualifying bid in the amount of $18,480, based upon the recommendation of the Charles E. Raines Company, the Township Engineers, and the DPS Commission.
Support.
Motion and support.
I will look for Mr. Joe. There you are, Joe Keefe, our wastewater treatment. And these are, well, he's coming up. This project has been on the board for some time, and we have talked about it. We have approved going out for bids, and this is the culmination of all the work we've done with the bids coming in and now awarding the contract. So, Joe, go into a little more detail.
Yeah, briefly, what we found after we did the lighting project last year down in the primary treatment room, and there's a lot of gas buildup, corrosive. It's a corrosive atmosphere, and that combined with rainwater leaking in between the slabs of the building below ground caused water to get into these conduits, which are specifically designed to work in a corrosive atmosphere, but not when you get water on the inside. And they corroded from the inside out, and once we so basically we've got exposed wiring on the ceiling down there that we're just replacing these conduits to put the wires back,
And obviously make it a safe environment. Any other questions?
Other questions?
I do. I'm just going to ask my fellow board members. I have a very close friendship with Douglas Electric, and if anybody feels that there may be a conflict of interest and I shouldn't vote, please let me know. I have no problem with that. I had nothing to do with the bids coming in. It is a low bid, but again, it's to comfort my fellow board members what they feel I should do.
I myself have no problem. I know Mr. Melvesto was not in any way, shape, or form part of this process, other than coming to the vote tonight.
Okay, then I will vote along with the rest of the membership. Rest of the board, excuse me.
Any other comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries.
And number 3. This is a motion to award a bid to Power Tech Services, Inc. in the amount of $27,810 for the arc flash compliance study based upon the recommendation of the Charles E. Raines Company and the DPS Commission.
Motion and support from Treasurer Van Oz.
And Joe, I'm going to let you do the backup on this.
Okay. The arc flash study, it's being required as part of the the National Fire Protection NFPA 2015 standards that were produced and came out. It's basically it's an employee safety issue that will demark the zones where you can go in with limited protection, no protection, and even up to the forbidden zone, working on live circuits in the panels at the wastewater treatment plant. And this is just to mark everything out so that we know that when we're working on these, that we have the appropriate equipment and or we're in the safe zone if you're a non-certified person. So it's part of the electrical standards from 2015, and it's an OSHA issue.
Also, could you explain I want the board to understand as they're looking through their packet, the initial letter of June 7th indicates a different dollar amount than what is in this motion, and I know there was an adjustment or an addendum.
There was an addendum
so that they understand.
When Cedar Rains first put this out for the quotations, they based it on the 2012 standard and not the 2015 standard. Once our safety guy, Suez's safety guy, saw that, he said, can I talk to them and let them know it's the standard? So they talked to him, and an addendum was issued, and the winning bidder did not.
Initially, he did
They
not.
did not initially get it, so we sat down, we had a meeting on whether to rebid the project or call up and we did. We ended up calling them and sent them the addendum, and they came back with another price, and we're still the low bidder.
And that's the key, that it was even with the addendum, it was still lower. It's the $27,000, but that's how we got to, how we made up that difference.
Joe?
Yes.
Just for my own clarification, there have been no violations as far as electrical and that. This is strictly a matter of coming into compliance with existing guidelines.
There has been no.
And then between the 12 and the 16, it was just a matter of sharing information. You realize that
they've been tightening down on getting much more stricter.
So the change in the numbers that Jim's talking about was strictly 12 to 16. There's a few additional things that need to be.
Smaller horsepower motors. There's a lot more stuff involved. That
your employees, as they go through the plant, there's areas that are identified.
Yes.
For them, so they know what they're dealing with in that given area
and what they're allowed to.
Thank you.
Yep. Any further questions from the board? I'll call the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried. Moving on to number 4, I'll take this one. I move that the Groseal Township Board of Trustees resolves to approve the Senior Alliance 2017 to 2019 multi-year plan for aging services.
Support.
With support. So the history here is the Senior Alliance, the TSA, is the state of Michigan's designated area agency on aging for the 34 communities in southern and western Wayne County, and committed to providing services that empower people with needs to live with dignity in the community of their choice. The TSA is required to request a resolution approving the 3-year plan from each unit of local government within the planning services area. The fiscal impact here, just for note, is $1,750 and is within our budgeted plan already. Further comments from the board? Well, they're all resolutions. I don't know that it requires a roll call, but if you want to, we can take a roll call. All right. So with that, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries. Ted, you want to take this one?
Based on the based on the recommendation of the Airport Commerce Park Commission and Brownfield Authority, I make a motion to approve the appointment of Jacob Tonova. Is that correct?
Nova.
All right. To the Airport Commerce Park Commission and Brownfield Authority for a term length of July 11th, 2016 to April 3rd, 2019.
Support.
Just a little history. Jacob came in and volunteered. We interviewed him, Chairman Moran and myself, and Mike Duker. He's got extensive experience airport and airport operations, although that's not his specialty, but that's where he ended up. And he has interest in airport itself and its operations, so we look forward to putting him on the commission.
Other comments, questions from the board? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Welcome to the commission.
Welcome aboard, Jacob.
Luck.
Hey, Trustee Bundy, you want to take number 6 also?
Okay, motion to approve the attached resolution authorizing issuance of 2016 capital improvement bonds and to authorize the Township's Finance Director to receive competitive bids for the bonds and to award the bonds to the lowest qualified bidder.
Support.
Support from Trustee Van Oz.
Oh, yeah, okay. Okay, so we're supported. I'm going to ask Mr. Kostick to come forward. The adoption of this resolution allows Grozeal to receive bids on bonds. As was stated previously, we're looking at doing projects to the water main. We just completed East River, or almost completed East River. We're looking to do West River in the near future. And as it was explained, as we're having some bonds drop off, so we thought it would be a good time to get these projects moving. Bill, with that, I'll turn it over to you.
You want me to add? I don't know what to add.
Whatever I missed.
Well, several members of the commission, we've reviewed the bond proposition and with the finance director and the township manager, and this would enable us to complete the 12-inch loop around the township by completing. East River is now completed, and the 2-mile segment on West River would be built hopefully next year or in 2018. It's important for fire flow purposes. Studies we've done in 2012, pressure studies indicated that normal usage we have no problems, but for fire flow on East and West Rivers, because of the gap in the old 60, 70-year-old pipe, which in some cases when we dug it up on East River were half closed up with calcium buildup on the inside of the pipes. So that for fire flow, we need to help the whole system throughout the township, and furthermore, if there was a major breakage someplace in the system, help supply pressure for normal usage throughout the system. Good thing to do, and that's what it's about.
Yeah, I'd say it's logical, but not everyone is logical. But the thought that when you have in places a 6-inch pipe and then in places a 12-inch pipe, it's important for the system to run as efficiently as possible and as well as possible is to have it as uniform as possible. So we always hate to spend money, but there is certain things that we just need to do, and this is our infrastructure is very important.
The goal was to create this circle in the township, and this.
Thank you, Bill.
One quick question, Bill. I appreciate the fact that this is part of the ongoing maintenance of the the numerous miles of water system that we have. Not clear, at least in here, and I think the people watching will probably want to know where this is getting paid from, right? So this would be paid out of water rates,
yes,
and not out of tax dollars.
We're pretty well assured that it will not. This alone will not cause an increase in the water rates. We've looked at our budget through the years, and particularly again this year, to try to keep rates as low as possible. And all we feel we need to pass on is whatever we get from what was Detroit, now the Great Lakes Water Authority, but hopefully these capital projects will not necessitate an increase. That's our of themselves, in and of themselves.
Other questions from the board? All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, we'll do a roll call. Trustee Smith?
Aye.
Trustee Bundy?
Aye.
Treasurer Van Oz?
Aye.
Trustee Malvesto?
Aye.
And Clerk Ranka votes aye as well. Motion carries. Trustee Malvesto, you want to cover number 7?
I'd be happy to. The proposed motion is to approve to accept the municipal credit funds from SMART in the amount of $10,184 to operate for the years 2016 and 17, the Community Transportation Program. There is a history on this. It's written by Recreation Director Boyd. It says each year the Recreation Department depends on funding from a Suburban Mobility Authority for regional transportation, being SMART. I'm sorry.
She's here also.
Oh, I didn't see you hiding back there. Go ahead. I didn't mean to steal your thunder.
It's okay. We can share it. So SMART
First
is
paragraph.
the Suburban Mobility Authority Regional Transportation. We are allocated community credits of $10,184. And that helps us offset our community transportation program, which runs 12 months out of the year, Monday through Friday, from 1 until 5. It costs approximately $25,000 a year to run the program. We get $10,000 in municipal credits, and then the rec department offsets the other $10,000, and then we get fares from our passengers as well. We are an opt-out community from SMART, which is a tri-county millage. By opting out, we save the taxpayers about $290,000 a year. If we were to participate in the millage, it costs the residents about $300,000 per year. So since we are an opt-out community, we don't get as much community funding, but we still get a piece of the pie, and we are able to supply a program to our communities for much less than what they would do if they were to participate in the actual millage. So we are asking for your support to accept the community funding from SMART.
I'd just like to say this provides a transportation service for seniors who may not otherwise have access, be it on the island or even off the island, correct?
That's correct.
And I don't know what the frequency of usage is, but I'm
Every
sure
day.
it's substantial.
Yes. Sue's pretty busy every day, Monday through Friday. She does Meals on Wheels in the morning, and then the afternoon is the actual transportation where we take people to grocery shop or doctor's appointments. We can't make habitual ones. If someone has an illness where they need to go to the doctor every day, like dialysis, we can't provide that types of transportation since we only have one vehicle. But we do runs to the doctors, emergency type runs, or runs that they can't make on their own. So we do go off island. We have a parameter of what we go to, and then obviously on island.
Thank you.
Other comments from the board? All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Okay, that moves us out of the action items into the clerk's report. There is an election coming up August 2nd. You can see the signs that have started coming up around Groseal and around the surrounding towns. A couple things on the election. If you want to get an absentee ballot, you're a registered voter. To get absentee ballot, you need to be one of these in one of these categories: age 60 or older, physically unable to attend the polls without the assistance of another, expecting to be absent from the community in which you are registered to vote for the entire time the polls are open on Election Day, in jail awaiting arraignment for trial, unable to attend the polls due to religious reasons, or appointed to work as election inspector in a precinct outside of your precinct of residence. Applications may be requested by calling or visiting the Township Clerk's office Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Those who wish to receive an absentee ballot by mail must submit the application by 2 p.m. Saturday, July 30th, and the clerk's office will be open Saturday, July 30th, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. And then just to keep us on our toes, once again, we've got a polling precinct location change. So the St. James Episcopal Church is unavailable on for the August 2nd election. So voters in Precinct 3 and only in Precinct 3 will be voting at a location within the Groseal School District, and we are waiting for the actual location. Signage will be available at St. James on Election Day, and also we will be mailing this year or not this election, and we'll also be mailing to those affected by the polling change.
And Ms. Ranka, the location has been set as of this afternoon. It'll be at the cafeteria at the middle school.
Cafeteria at the middle school. Okay. That we're looking for a larger place in the school. Came through with the middle school cafeteria for Precinct 3. Also for the election, or not for this election, but the July 26th at 4 p.m. is the deadline to file paperwork for those interested in running for the school board position on the November 8th ballot. There will be 3 board positions available, so if you're interested in that, the deadline is July 26th. I think that is it for the clerk's report. Mr. Treasurer?
Thank you, Eric. You can go on my website for the current investment report, updates, everything that we have invested throughout the township. Again, dog licenses and dog park licenses are available at Township Hall, CNET, or the clerk, and I have no further.
No report this evening. Thank you.
Dale, can I ask your assistance for a second? First off, on Tuesday the 19th, we're doing We Kayak is doing a blessing of the kayak fleet at Water's Edge. Supervisor Loftus has said he'll show up and join us. Pastor Sean from St. Thomas Lutheran Church is going to do the blessing. It's going to be just a put your best foot forward, put a big smile on your face, be a great photo op for Groseal. Show our warmth, our hospitality. Everybody is invited if you want to get in your kayak, and we'd ask you to show up at the north end of the marina at about 5:15. We'll stage the kayaks we'll put them in about 5:45. Paddle down to the boardwalk. Pastor Sean will do the blessing. Then you're invited to paddle with the group. We usually paddle till 8 o'clock in the evening. So hopefully it'll be a bright, colorful occasion, and hopefully and then Kathy asked that tell everybody that there will be some sort of a free giveaway to everyone who attends. But there's going to be a number of people there, and it'd just be a great fun. Get a chance to do a little bit of social paddling and see what we're about on Tuesdays. The second thing I wanted to bring up, there will be a Fire Commission meeting on the 21st. But I was just confirming with Manager Dale Riem. On the same evening, Tuesday the 19th at 7:30, there's going to be an opportunity to meet your candidates. All the candidates have been invited to show up. It'll be here at the Township Boardroom. It will be recorded. Each one of the candidates will have the ability to introduce themselves. There will be a short question and answer period. There will be a moderator to keep everything moving forward, and a short question and answer period afterwards. So please keep that in mind. Put it on your calendar. We'd like to fill up this boardroom and see a bunch of smiling faces. getting a chance to introduce ourselves to. So please keep that in mind. Randy, our next July 28th will be the next CRC meeting right here. So everyone's welcome to attend. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Malvesto. Trustee Bundy?
Thank you. What do we have tonight? ZBA meeting. We actually have one this month. It'll be Tuesday, July 26th at 7 o'clock. We have 2 appeals that we're hearing, so come early and watch us in action. We have a DPS meeting tomorrow, the 12th at 7 o'clock. Just some DPS projects that you of. The East River Water Main project is substantially completed. There is a little restoration that still needs to be done, and they will be doing that. But they finished ahead of schedule, and as I said in our previous meeting, that was a project that really went nicely for us, and certainly is something that needed to be done and will help the whole community. We also had the Stout Avenue Drainage Project. That too is substantially completed. We have 2 water sprinkler system repairs that need to be done, but other than that, we're through with that one. Concrete repairs you may have seen around the island, in various places, concrete being torn out and replaced, and this is funds to repair this, or funds to repair and resurface or reconstruct our local township residential roads that are under the Wayne County jurisdiction, come from the local partnering initiative that we've talked about previously, where Wayne County gives us some money and we match some money and we get some things done. Projects under that, LaSalle Court was done and is completed, and currently GV Cement is working on Rivard Court, Cadillac Circle, and Grays Drive, and you will see them other places throughout the island during the summer. But that's our road project. And one last thing, I know Brian would really like this one. Wayne County-sponsored household hazardous waste collection is Saturday, August 13th at the Westland Shopping Center located on Warren Road and Nankin Boulevard from 8 to 4 o'clock. Mainly for stains, dyes, floor wax, furniture polish, things of that nature. They're also accepting electronics for recycling, computers, monitors, scanners, keyboards, cell phones, fax machines, and televisions. A couple other things. One thing that's come to my attention, because I've got a number of calls on it, our ballot, and of course we have the election coming up August 2nd, but there is incorrect figures on the ballot. The people who have absentee ballots, that's who I got the calls from. And the ballot, as far as the fire millage renewal, shows on it a figure of that the fire department would be getting $278,000, and that figure should be $287,000. Now, a question I have is, I've talked to Ann and to Sharon about this, and I understand how the ballot went out incorrectly. But what I'm concerned with is that I didn't see that we tried to do anything to inform the residents that there was a mistake and just explain it. And I don't know. I haven't heard that we plan on doing anything at the polls to allow them, to inform them of that, and certainly people who got their absentee ballot didn't get any information on it. And as I say, I got 6 calls on it.
So I would just like to comment on that because it says it's an estimated
It does say that.
recovery, right? And that's estimated for a number of reasons. One of them is because we don't know what the actual tax rolls are going to be, so we could not even put an exact number if we wanted to. So the fact that it's, less than $10,000 off really should pose no change to the
other than we knew about the mistake and we didn't try and inform anybody. That was my only question because as I say, I got 6 calls.
Yeah, no, that was the consensus was that it was ballots were past the proofing at the at the printer, and it was too late to change that, and it's an estimated figure only. So from a legal standpoint, it's we didn't think that was an issue to have that.
But okay, so now they know because they're going to be watching this meeting.
Perhaps, but issues like that sometimes there's causing too much confusion for the what you're addressing, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So it's an estimated figure. It's very close, and it'll be different from either one of those two figures at the end of the day based on what the tax rolls are at that point in time anyway.
And that's all I have.
Mr. Posiask is excused, so that'll bring up the Township Attorney report.
I have a quick comment. Regular basis, and unfortunately for the township, with some of the recent press in the last couple months, it's rather obvious that the township has been involved, both from a prosecution perspective and as a municipal entity, involved in a few lawsuits. And I just want to be real clear about one thing: is that I understand the public's concern for information and gathering information about those lawsuits and what's happening and the liability and the potential risk and those types of things. And what I want to do is, I try to do my best to advise not only the board but the public is about important dates that are happening with those cases, things that are happening, decisions from the court, that type of information. And certainly the staff I know does that on a regular basis to residents that ask. But I want to be clear that it's based on my recommendation and based on my experience that not only the board but the staff is continually advised, as I have for quite some time, based on a lot of experience and a lot of recommendations from a lot of seasoned attorneys who taught me that, as to strategies and specific positions with regard to the lawsuits, it's appropriate for the staff and the board not to comment, both to the public and to the press. So I just want to be clear. I know all of you know that my position's on it. I want the public to understand that it's not coming from you. It's coming from our recommendation. And in those cases where we're represented by other counsel, that it's best that as to the strategy and to the positions that we not comment on those types of things. So we will always do our best, and I know the staff will, Dale's office, and we always try to get, if anybody has any questions about pending dates, deadlines, those type of things that are all public information, we're always happy to provide it. So we're not trying to hide anything. We want to be very careful in protecting the township's interests with regard to issues that arise with regard to our position and strategies. So thanks.
Thanks, Tom. Dale?
Thank you, Clerk Renka. Mentioned Mr. Posiask was not here. Well, he asked me to make a few reports as well as Supervisor Loftus, so you can't escape them completely. Mr. Posiask, item number 1, I'd like to announce an event July 23rd. Come watch the Downriver Derby Dolls skate at the all-season rink at 5 p.m. Saturday, July 23rd. They will be selling raffle tickets at the event for the July 30th steak roast. There'll be tickets, prizes for first prize 4 steaks, second prize 2, third prize 1, and fourth prize will be a merchandise gift basket donated by the Dolls. And there will be lemonades and hot dogs complimentary. What are the Downriver Derby Dolls? Right off their webpage, quote, "We are a highly motivated, skilled, and disciplined roller derby league. Downriver Derby is comprised of and run by women who live and work in the Downriver communities. Strive to create a sport atmosphere that inspires girls and women and appeals to all fan demographics while giving back to the community that supports them, and the Dolls are looking for causes to support and people to help in their mission." So come and skate with Roller Derby Dolls. 5 p.m. It's expected to last a few hours. And July 30 will be a steak roast at Centennial Farm. Fundraiser will proceeds will benefit the rink debt. And from Mr. Supervisor, Concerts on the Commons continues each Sunday at 7 at Macomb Commons. Bring your chair and enjoy wonderful music throughout the summer. The 2016 Downriver Senior Olympics will be starting on Monday, July 25th through Friday, July 29th, hosted by the City of Wyandotte. Interested participants can pick up an application from the Recreation Department. The island-wide garage sale will be held on Friday and Saturday, August 19th and 20th from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Please register by Friday, August 12th. The Township website or contacting Carol Canope. And don't forget to vote the August 2nd election. And there are 2 millage renewals on that date, fire and recreation. This is not from Mr. Loftus, but Chief Murdoch. Brandy, do you have anything you'd like to say? Obviously, we're not promoting a millage or not, but we can explain what it's about. And if anyone has questions, definitely please contact the departments, and we'll be glad to answer any questions that anyone has. Brandy?
Just wanted to update from the last meeting. I had spoke to you regarding the irrigation at the golf course. Both of our pumps have been fixed, and we are watering the greens again. And the course is greening up quite nicely after a long drought that we had. The nice weather is also bringing a lot of people to our concert series on Thursday nights. Our next one is this Thursday at 7 o'clock, rain or shine. It's The Pulse, and they're a mixed band of R&B and pop and top 40. They're very energetic, and I think it'll be a great evening. Our pools are seeing great numbers, and we have a special event coming up on July 20th. We're having a luau at the pool, and hopefully everyone can come out and have some fun with us. Tickets are advance tickets only. They can be purchased online or at the rec department. And just Manager Riem, and remind us that we do have a ballot question on the upcoming August 2nd election. And that is a renewal for the rec department. That's the original millage that we've operated on for approximately the last 15 years. The millage rate is .4999, and it generates approximately $287,000 for the department, and that helps operate our department. If you have any questions regarding the millage, I'd be happy to answer your questions. You can call or email me. Thanks.
Randy, what's the date on the luau again?
The luau is the 20th, July 20th, 7 o'clock.
A few more brief items. I will be reviewing several of the staff's salary rates in relationship to a new rule regarding salary versus hourly versus time and a half that will be coming to us in December to evaluate those positions and rates and how we should and have to, under the law, deal with those calculations. So I was surprised when I learned of this, that the federal government is involving themselves in what they consider a true salary rate in relationship to what they think should be a time and a half rate for a salary position. So just trying to sort some of those things out. And our next meeting is August 8th. Sharon, is that correct? Okay. And we will not be having a meeting at the end of this month, 4th. So, thank you.
Thank you, Manager Riem. Supervisor's excused, so his report was covered by Township Manager, and that brings us to public comment. So any public comment? Come on up, Woody.
Woody Clark, Park Lane. I don't think the sound is on.
Done.
On, okay. Legal fees.
Legal fees dated 6/17 to O'Reilly Rensselaer in the amount of $2,330. Legal fees dated 6/24 to O'Reilly Rensselaer in the amount of $927. And finally, legal fees dated 7/8 in the amount of $5,016 to Pepper Hamilton for our MDEQ litigation. $1,000.
Okay, all right. I was at a meeting the other night, recreational meeting at Water's Edge, and some people got up and started talking about the parking of the boats, where they come in and eat, and they're supposed to pay a certain amount of fee, like $5 or something. Hardly anybody pays. There was a member there from the boating establishment that we have, said that he would collect the money and split half with us. Thought it was a pretty good deal, but nobody said him too much about it. I hearing when the kayaks come in, nobody pays. I hear, is that right, Tom?
That's correct. There's currently not a launching fee for kayaks at the marina.
Okay. But we have boats that are docked, and they're paying for the dockage.
They're using electric. They're using water. They're having the service of the lift.
So,
This is
okay.
a service just like our bike pass. We don't charge to use the bike pass. We do not charge to use the Sunrise Park at the foot of East River Road and Parkway.
Okay, what about the handicap lift? I've never seen anybody use it.
Neither have I, sir.
The government paid for it, right? Or did we pay for it?
That was installed using block grant money, yes.
All right, well, the lawyer brought up something about we can't talk about a splash park.
I cannot make any statements on
I know.
that. Okay.
A lot of rumor out
Don't
there.
lead me into uncharted waters.
I know, I'm not going to do that. But, you know, I'm hearing there's rumors out there about doing money.
I probably hear the same rumors you do, so.
Fight them, it costs us more money.
All right, Woody.
Anybody else? Yeah, Tom, if you want to address, that's fine.
Well, I will tell you this, Mr. Clark, is that a lawsuit was filed against Vortex USA on behalf of the township, and we're in continued discussions now with council after that complaint's been filed. As soon as we have dates from the court or new stuff, I'll advise both the board and the public.
Any other public comment? Seeing none, I'll call the question to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
Support. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion adjourned.